Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the United States Ambassador's Residence in Baguio City, the latest addition to the U.S. Secretary of State's Register of Culturally Significant Properties. I'm Carlos Saldran, and allow me to take you on a virtual tour of this mansion and show you some glimpses not only of the house, but of some scenes from Philippine-American history. In 1902, the oppressive summer heat in Manila prompted Governor General William Howard Taft to develop Baguio City as the Philippines' summer capital. The Governor General's official residence back then was the Mansion House, which was eventually transferred to the Philippine government in 1935 during the Commonwealth period. During those transition years, there was still an American authority in the Philippines called the U.S. High Commissioner. And naturally, he needed an official residence every summer here in Baguio City. And so the construction of the U.S. High Commissioner's residence was started in 1937 and finally completed in 1940. Only a year after it was built, Japanese forces took over the residence in 1941 when World War II erupted. For 3 years, the residence was used by the Japanese military to house their high-ranking officials until the Allied forces and Filipino guerrillas liberated Baguio in 1945. After the war, the Americans rehabilitated this structure and it became the U.S. Ambassador's residence. Since then, the U.S. Ambassador's residence has had a significant diplomatic role for the U.S. government, hosting, visiting distinguished U.S. officials, as well as receiving Filipino guests during important occasions. The residence was constructed by H.R. Goik, a Florida-based contracting company, and is a fine example of the Greek revivalist style, which emphasized symmetry and long, straight lines. But you'll also notice these decades-old bougainvillea trees, which soften the harsh verticality of these columns because they've been taken care of by mga Mado. Kamusta? A gardener that's been working here for the last 30 years. Before you enter the building, you'll find the Philippine government's National Historical Institute or NHI marker, which highlights some storied moments of this building's past. And now for the main event, the living room of the Ambassador's residence. Kamusta, Ate Belen? Now, this living room was where the formal surrender of the Japanese forces in the Philippines took place on September 3, 1945 at 12:10 p.m. General Tomoyuki Yamashita and Vice Admiral Denhichi Okochi signed the instrument of surrender, while Major General Edmund Levy signed for the Allied side. The focal point of the residence is the fireplace, and right above it is a priceless painting done by Philippine national artist Fernando Amorsolo on the surrender of Yamashita, based on an actual photograph done by Life magazine photographer Carl Maidens. These days, the living room with its chandelier, fireplace, and painting is transformed into an elegant ballroom where the ambassador entertains guests during important occasions, such as the July 4th American Independence Day and holiday receptions in December. For many years, people have been wondering where the original table used in the surrender was located, the one with the white tablecloth inside the photograph. Well, after much speculation, people suspect that it never left the house, and that it's right here, inside the dining room, today used as the dining table for the ambassador and his guests. There is another fireplace in the dining room, and right above it is another painting by Amorsolo, a portrait of General Douglas MacArthur. This large kitchen is used by embassy personnel to prepare food for special occasions and official functions, and it still maintains many of its original features, such as the latches on the cabinet, the hood above the oven, and even the lamps above me. And one of the rooms that attracts interest here is what's known as the Yamashita Bedroom, where General Tomoyuki Yamashita stayed during the Japanese occupation. And they say that he chose this room because of its view of the driveway, where he could see his troops and give orders from his bedroom. A peculiar feature to this particular room was its former escape pole, where you could zoom from this room all the way down to the basement, and you can still see evidence of this by the shadowy outline on the wood of the floor. There are many controversial stories that surround General Tomoyuki Yamashita. Some of those stories being about his treasure, hidden somewhere in Baguio that nobody's been able to find until today. And of course, stories about his ghost, which supposedly has appeared to guests in the mansion. Which is only natural, because any historical place worth its weight in salt has gotta have a ghost. Within the compound are two other residences where U.S. Embassy personnel, both Filipino and American, would have short vacations or stay during official functions here in Baguio. Although not as big as the ambassador's residence, it still has the look and feel of a classic mid-century suburban American home. And our final stop is the view deck, where you can take in the scent of Virginia pine, take a look at the Cordillera Mountains while sipping a cup of Benguet coffee. Maraming salamat. And I hope you all enjoy this brief tour of the United States Ambassador's residence here in Baguio. And although this may not be open to the public, maybe if you're lucky and play your cards right, you'll be invited as a guest like me.